What's up, everybody? Alrighty. This should charge it, hopefully. Alrighty. What's everybody up to? Come home, my wife and son was sleeping. I mean, just sleeping good, too. I am not fixing the bottle. Yeah. Yep. Whew. Sorry about the not having a second live. I had to fix that darn skid steer, which I didn't. It's not done because I'm still digging everything out all around where the pump is and all that good stuff. Yeah, buddy. Got a mess on my hands. Once I get that all dug out, I'll be able to get somebody up in that cab with it up in the air. Take and fire it up, and let me see where this leak is. It's one of them lower hoses, but it evacuated the entire tank. Now I was looking at the feed lines for the tank. I was looking at the underneath, seeing if anything got busted, if the tank itself emptied, like had a leak, but no, I didn't see nothing on the tank itself. I'm gonna say it's one of them hydraulic lines on the bottom. What's up, Ramesh? What's up, buddy? So we had to cut the stream short today. I had to work on that skid steer. Good news. The big that big loader we got out there actually lifts up that skid steer like it ain't shit. Tennessee, buddy. Yes, sir, from Tennessee. Where are you from? Good to see you, bud. Where's everybody, from in here? Find out where everybody's at. 9 times out of 10, we get them all over the world. India? Tennessee? No. In America. Yeah. What's up, Glubus? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Take it easy, buddy. Get some sleep, man. I'm still kicking. What's up, Glubus? Yeah, no, I'm still kicking. Hell, I miss Tennessee. Oh, man. It's nice out here, man. It's a state that you can enjoy kind of everything. You can go from the flatlands to the hill country to mountains, the whole nine, all across this state. It ain't got much flatlands, but it's got flatlands. So technically it counts. The mountains, yeah, it's East Tennessee, anywhere from middle to east. Middle, you got you got decent little, mountains, but it's the East Tennessee. It's got the good mountains. That's the steep shit out that way. I've been all through it too. And a semi-truck. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. There's mountains all over the place. It's just Tennessee. It's pretty cool. On the left side of the state, you got the flatlands. Everywhere in between, you got anywhere from rolling hills to the mountains and all that. And then on the east side, you got the big mountains. The extreme mountains. I went up through the Smokies a lot. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I think in India y'all got some of the tallest ones, don't you? Or it's all over in that area. It's nearby. Yeah, I know about a Royal Enfield. Yep. This is AI. Oh, this is far from AI. I promise you that. I'm living and breathing. See, look, I'll kick the camera. Next time you see somebody AI, tell them, hey, kick the camera. They have mountain lions in Tennessee. Yeah. I don't know about out east. I'd imagine so, but I know we got what do you call them? Show us a thumbs up. Hell yeah, sure. Hold up. Sound like a bot. Is it this mic or something? Let's see. How's that sound now? I got 2 street bikes, but my favorite is a dirt bike. Oh yeah, that's Pier over there. Nah, you're good, dude. You're good. Nah, I'm real. Go back to my stream previous to this, prior to this, and you'll see where I was on the machinery and all that. Normally I do 2 streams a day, but it got cut short. I'm talking right. It happened on stream. I have a bike named Baja Pulsar. Oh hell yeah! I mean, all you'll see is a light. My dog had a hard day. Oh yeah, always. She's spoiled rotten too. Would you rather gain $1 or gain what? Maybe yeah. But yeah, dude, it was on stream right there at the end of the stream. I turned over and I was like, oh shit. He stopped. He says it wasn't doing nothing. It wasn't doing shit. I'm talking all controls were gone. And it wasn't whining though. That's the thing. So evidently a safety kicked in, but it didn't throw a code. So hey, at least the safety worked though. But yeah, couldn't get it to move. Couldn't get the arms lifted up. Couldn't roll the tracks. Couldn't do nothing. And I said, well, I'm just curious. I took that big lift. I slid it underneath them tracks. And that son of a bitch picked it up like it wasn't nothing. Like it was a toy. I was able to set it inside the shop. Who killed? She's not dead. Pira. Hey! Got 2 border collies. The collies and they are super smart. Yeah, they are. Oh, what? I'm paying attention to the dog. We can't have that, can we, cat? Here's a good bike which runs let's see. Great dog, buddy. What's up, Zelly? I feel like I shouldn't answer that. We all kind of pack over this way, but you know, I feel like that's yeah. All right, ATF. Keyword NSA listens in. Well, it's a LiveWire 1. Oh man. Yep, LiveWire 1, dude. She's a good bike. I just rode home from work on her. She's dirty. It has been a good one. She has a few quirks, a few pet peeves that I have with it, but as far as battery and motor goes, I mean, that does what you'd expect it to do. It works, you know. It's just there's some things that when I think back, see, I didn't pay full price for this bike. That's obvious. Fuck that. Excuse my language, but you know, screw that. But I feel bad for anybody that did, because you know they say 22,000. See, this was the 2022 model, so that's right around the time roughly is when they dropped the price down to 22,000. But before that, it was 30,000 for these bikes, like identical. Like even though the Harley Davidson and LiveWire split, it's the same exact bike. Just the badging's different in colors. Brother, I can't answer you. Anyhow, the badging's different. And but the problem is, man, the price. There's people paying on it to this day who's got these just super high payments, man. For what, me riding the bike, and I got it for a good price. I got it dirt cheap, compared, because like I said, when you drive off the lot, even though you paid 30 grand for a bike, it drops half its value right there. The second you leave that lot, electric bikes, their value just kills over. So I just don't see the point in it. And now that I'm riding it, and I know I got these little quirks about it, like for instance, where you have to store the wire on it under the seat. It's not, you're fumbling with the damn wire trying to get it all packed away under the seat. Just sucks. You'd think for a $30,000 bike, so now I'm going back in the day, like 2020, for a $30,000 bike, you'd expect something to be retractable, right? You'd expect to walk up to the bike and pull a cord out, plug it into the wall when you're done, pull it, release it, and pull it back into the bike. You would expect a system like that, but it don't have it. You have to fumble with this cord. It sucks. That part, I don't get. Again, $30,000 under the seat, where you're quote unquote where you store your wire and you have like maybe enough room for paperwork. Well, don't get wet. None of that's sealed up. There's no seals. There's no nothing. It's wide open. Even your plug's gonna get wet if you ride in the rain. Just shit like that just kind of throws me off. Performance-wise, it's good. It's fine in that aspect of things. As far as and of course, the front wheels, rear wheels, brakes, shocks, struts, all that shit. That's standard old motorcycle shit. That's nothing. They're not innovating nowhere on that. The frame, that shit is just standard motorcycle shit. The motor, the batteries, okay, you got something there, but the rest, yeah, no, garbage. I don't see $30,000. Because the bike part's standard, the motor and the batteries is where the cost should be, which obviously it is. And I just don't see it. I feel so bad for anybody that paid. Because you got to think, it was MSRP of 30. They walked out the door, tax, title, tags, and all around 34 to 35,000. And then right after that, not even what, 2-3 years after they paid that $34,000 to $35,000, depending on where you're at, they dropped down to $22,000. And then get this, and it's even better than that. So these people who walked in there and paid that, like, oh my god, I got a hell of a deal. I paid $25,000 out the door, and now all the unsold 2022 models, they just dropped down to like $15,000. Yeah, with a 5-year fresh warranty. So them people are sore too. Now, let's see. I had to come over here to scroll back because I'm trying to save battery on my phone. Oh, shit. So I got my little monitor out. Let's see. See if it's charging. No, it is not. This charger sucks. Anyhow, let's see. I'm subscribing. What's up, Zeller? Thank you. Yeah, don't answer that. yeah, got it. Let's see, nice. I'm subbing. Thank you, buddy. Got some crossbows. See you around, brother. Take it easy, Ramesh. Yeah, did you add anything, or is it stock? So it's bone stock. It's bone stock. All I did was flip the mirrors upside down. And I'll tell you why. That's another pet peeve. Them mirrors and their stock configuration is looking at your arms. I don't care how you adjust it, you're looking at your arms. You can barely see behind you. At least in the way I got them now, and you got to do like some adjusting so it don't touch nothing when you turn. But once you get it all adjusted right, it won't touch nothing as you turn. Like sharp turn while you're moving around in a shop or something. But anyhow, now I can see behind me. But the way they are stock, that's the dumbest thing I ever seen in my life. Because the way they got your arms set on there, the way your posture is on the bike, you can't see shit behind you. You're just staring directly at your freaking arms. And if you adjust it way far out, you're only looking like right beside you. Weird. What's up for the king? Yep. It's been a good bike. I have noticed there was a weird thing. It did one weird thing with me, is with the monitor. So when you turn it on, I had it freeze once. But after I cut it back off and then had to leave the kickstand down and let it sit for about a minute or two, it finally cut off. And then it started, the second time I started up, it started up just fine. And then sometimes, now this is something it does periodically, when you kick it on. So you'll get like your mode at the top right? But sometimes it just shows a red, octagon. And it won't let you do none of your settings. You can't run through modes or nothing. And it does that every now and then on startup. So when you start it up, it'll do the loading. And then once you're there, you'll see it. You have to kick your kickstand back down, cut it back off, let it cut the screen off, and then restart it. And then it'll be right. It does that. That's another weird thing it does. But other than that, though, as far as the bike running and riding and all that, it rides out good. And I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with wheelies. Yes, you can wheelie this bike. It don't have, sitting still, it don't have a sound. You have to be riding it to hear it. But you can't rev it. Yeah, that's the one thing you got to remember about electric bikes. Unless it's got a clutch, like the Energica, you ain't revving it, I think they would extend them further. Yeah. So you can actually see, oh yeah. Can I hear the sound? Yeah, like I said, it ain't got a sound. Sitting still, and you can't just turn the throttle because you have to get off the kickstand anyways. And when you do, if you twist that throttle thinking you're going to rev it, it's about to come out from under you. Because I think it's got a lot of power. But the most you'll hear is the pump. So you'll hear the pump come on and circulate, and then once it circulates, you can't really hear it. But nice bike. I just got some gripes about it as far as, and I'm talking from like I got it cheap enough to where I don't mind it, but I feel bad for anybody that did pay the full price for these bikes. Yeah, I feel bad for them, dude. It's messed up. Yep. And I don't care. I understand there's some people that's got some miles on these things, man. I get that. Electric, there is a benefit to electric. You can put some miles on it and not really have to worry about too much. You can dog the shit out of them and really not have to worry about too much. But I know there's people out there with 20-something thousand miles. I only got 1,500 miles on this thing. So really 1,000 because, like 1,100. Because I got it at 400 miles. That's another thing, man. Somebody paid, if they got it before the price change, they paid full price like $30,000. But if they got it right when the price dropped down to 22, because I was right when the split happened, I'm gonna say they got it then. They paid 25 grand for this thing and only rode it 400 miles. How the hell do you pay that kind of money and never freaking ride the thing? I'd be living off this thing. I would have to sleep with this thing in my living room. Should get a custom wrap for your bike? Oh, yeah. Oh, let me see. Well, I'm just... Yeah, let's see. How much does it cost? So, back in 2020, these things cost like 30 grand. And in 2022, when Harley Davidson and LiveWire split, they dropped down to 22,000. Now, remember, tax, title, tags out the door is a little bit more than that. And it's just, I don't agree with the price on them. It's way overpriced for what you get. Turn it on, all you're going to see is a light. And you should do a rap relating to your YouTube channel name. Burnout, it can do a burnout. I guess I could do that for y'all. Yeah, give me 1 minute. Let's see what my battery's at. I'm about to unplug it. Oh, shit. Plug it straight in. Hear the pump? You gotta turn traction control off to do fun stuff like that. I got her in A mode. I always click over, I can see my throttle, my odometer, all that good stuff. Tire right there. Ooh, rubber. Already. Ain't no warming up or nothing. It just works. I appreciate it, Razor Lover. Very oversized bike for being electric. It's 500 pounds. It's actually not too bad weight wise because I had a KLR 650 and it was a tall bike at like 460 pounds. So it's not too bad. The weight's not just awful. You know, there are a lot heavier bikes. It's electric, yep. First time I see this, yeah. Yeah, they're fast too. Don't get me wrong, they're fast. You can pop wheelies with that bike and everything. You gotta think, a lot of its weight's up forward and it still comes up with a wheelie. That's, so it tops out at 115. Yes, I've hit it. In Mexico, when I crossed over into Mexico. I mean, on a closed course, racing course. Off-road, not on the street. I plead the fifth. Let's see. Fastest speed you hit so far. Oh yeah, I was expecting to sound like a 4 inline. No, she's all electric. That silver part on the bottom, that's the electric motor. Runs into that little gearbox back there. Runs it out 90 out to a belt drive right there. See the side where it's got these little fins? That's part of the sink, the heat sink that runs back to the, and the batteries are encased in between that. And the cooling on this thing, so I will say this, I'll give them this. So on the LiveWires, the active cooling that it has, even when you charge it, that's why their batteries last so long, because they actively cool their batteries as it charges and as it's rode, so nothing gets hot, or too hot, that is. And it's the only one that does that, and this is the only bike I think out there that has level 3 charging. You can actually pull up to a DC fast charger, plug it in, and it'll charge it in no time. So technically, if there was a bike to road trip, quote unquote, on that's electric, I wouldn't road trip an electric bike. It's just too much hassle. But if you were to do it, this would be the one, because if you can hit fast chargers, you can make it possible. Let's see, do you have another, any other bikes? I do. Do another burnout. I missed the last one. Scroll back. I ain't burning all my tire away. Them tires do be expensive. Should see the mark? But yeah, I got a CRF 300L. I just sold a Rebel 300, and I know those are small bikes, but I've had larger bikes before. I had a Valkyrie, a 2014 Valkyrie GL 1800C. VTX 1300R before that. I had a few in between bikes, and it was 80s models. I got a CB 900 sitting down in the shop right now, 1984 I want to say model, and it's got the 5 low and 5 high, but it's a 5-speed with a high and low. But everybody calls it the 10-speed Honda. That was Honda's over-engineered bike back in the day. Could you bring out the others and tell us about them? Well, one I got on the rack, and the reason it's on the rack, it's the CRF 300L, a 2022 model. Great bike. They're hooligan bikes all the way. Now, if you live in like a city or something like that, oh, dude, prepare to get in trouble. You're going to be doing some dumb shit on that. But if you live out in the country, man, it's even better. You can just go off-road. Yeah, it's a full-blown, it's a CRF 250 chassis, pretty much. But it's got the the CBR 300R, small sport bike, but it's got that engine on it, and that's the same engine they put on the Honda Rebel 300, so it's got a 6-speed transmission, and it's actually a transmission I liked. The reason I got the 300, even though it's a smaller engine, the whole reason I got it was because the transmission is absolutely perfectly geared. It's got a granny low first, quote unquote granny low. It's got a close 2 through 5, and then number 6 is an overdrive gear. It's perfect, for what you got with the motor. And I understand a lot of people get them and they want to take them down the highways and interstates, and I'm like, well, take a dirt bike down the highway and interstate, that's kind of not, not really what it's for. Where it shines is when you're on the low speed back roads, trails, and shit like that. That's where that bike shines. But the reason it's on the rack is my sister, in-law, the one we went through all this trouble getting her out of the house. When she first moved in about a year ago, she sat on my darn my KLR 650. Said a bird swooped down at her. I've been living here since 2011. I've been on several bikes underneath this carport, and I've never had a bird swoop down on me. She was over here. I imagine she was taking pictures on my bike. We was all asleep in the house, by the way. And next thing you know, I hear a bunch of sobbing in the kitchen. So I come running out. Golly, dude, I'm not answering. I come running out in the kitchen, and she was like, "I knocked your bikes over." All I could do was walk outside. And mind you, this 2022 CRF 300L was brand new. I'm talking less than 1,000 miles new. Yeah. Yeah. My KLR was knocked on top of it, and it fell in the KLR took way less damage. All it did was crack the plastic bag on the back. But the CRF 300L, it shredded that bike. I'm talking the blinker, the undertail blinker, the side, the plastics, the fuel tank, the Acrobus aftermarket fuel tank I tossed on there. I just noticed because I was like, hey, let me just double check over the bike and make sure the damage is, what's been done so I can get an accurate list. And when I had a light on it, a good light, I saw where the streak come up off that plastic and went into that tank and put a little bit of a gouge on that tank, which I don't trust that. I just don't. So she's gonna have to replace all that. So it's got damage. So I gotta wait until that's all settled before I can really ride it. Because if I put new damage on it, what can you do? Anyhow, New York State, so very little people. I hear you. Yeah, it's my bike. Yep. Let me go back and read comments. My bad, y'all. Terrible at this. Let's see. Let's see. Live in New York State, very little people. That's your bike, yeah. But yeah. So and the other ones, they're down there in the shop and they're not running. It's an '84 model. I got all the carburetors off on it, and it's got a 4-carb setup, and that is a. Do you want puzzles? Well, that's a puzzle. But yep. And like I said, I traded my KLR 650 for this. And I've enjoyed it. It reminds me a lot of my GL 1800C. It's got a lot of the same pull. Torque-wise, it's just a torque monster. And the beauty about this bike here, unlike my 1800C, see, my 1800C was considered a sport cruiser under insurance. And this one's just considered a cruiser. Even though this thing full-on sits like a freaking crotch rocket and kind of looks like it too. But yeah, dude, the insurance is a lot cheaper. You need to do a video where you turn one of your bikes and turn it into an off-roading machine. Well, I was going to do one on that Rebel 300 because I like fat tire bikes. I do. And balloon type tire bikes, And the Rebel 300, it's got some fat tires on it. I was wanting to put some knobbies on it and do a 2-inch lift on the front, 2-inch lift on the back, put a bash plate on the bottom. And I was going to take it all through the Ozarks and just, never got to it. It was just one of them things that I'd rather sell it than to let it sit, It was a good bike. I rode all around out here on it. My son loved it especially, I'd take him for rides on it. And but now he loves this one because it's got buttons. Yep. But yeah, no, I've built some stuff before, and right now I got mini bikes. And I'll tell you, if you want to do stupid stuff or if you want to have the most fun in your life, get a mini bike. I got a Hurricane, what is it, M200 Hurricane, and that's a really good bike. It's got front and rear disc brakes. It's got full front and rear suspension, and it comes with the torque converter, 30 series torque converter, and it's been a really good bike. And that's one I actually want to street legalize because it comes with the MSO, and which is a manufacturer state of origin, and I want to take and make it street legal and make it to where I can go down through the Ozarks with it. Now, I'll trailer it out there. I ain't fixing to ride all the way. You can't put it on the interstate. It's a slow-moving vehicle anyways, but, I'm gonna trailer it close. I'm not fixing to. I'd like to, but I just ain't got that kind of time or funding. So, riding that thing all the way out there, But if I was to go far, like for instance the Ozarks, I got to put a Juggernaut, CVT and all that on there. You doing a stream tomorrow? Yeah, we'll be doing a stream tomorrow. Minted. What's up, D? Remember you from last time? Yeah, buddy. Here, I'll roll that mini bike out here so y'all can see that. And while I'm doing that, this poor old phone needs a charge. That drink is empty. Alrighty. Yeah, because it ain't charging on this stuff, so the audio might be a little shitty after this. And now y'all are on the phone audio. Oh, probably should have up the brightness. There we go. Now she's fast charging. Let's see, what time is it here? Let's see. It's about 6 o'clock here. Now, it's dirty. We're riding her off the road. I got this plastic tank cover, or it's like a simulated tank on. There's a reason for that. Let me put this up. I need that at the moment. Let me get it to where y'all can see the whole thing. So the reason I got it, normally there's like a little plastic tank. It's just a shell here. It's not really used for anything. But I want to use that spot, for something, which for me would be storage. So I want to put a third ammo can right here on the back rack. So I got these two off to the side. I'll put a third bigger one right there in between, which will fasten the back of these to it with rubber grommets and all that. That way it seals up from rain. And that'll be my storage for when I go off, off-road. I'll have extra belts, basic tools, tent, hammock is what I like to use. Lighter, it's easier. Anyhow, on the front here, probably do some type of storage there, It don't hurt. And on top of that, the heavier you can get the bike, the better the suspension works. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, these suspensions are stout. They might as well not even have it. I'd like to put softer shocks, but at the same time, I want to try it with it all loaded out first, kitted out, ready for a trip, and just see how it rides. And if it still rides rough, I'm changing the shocks on it. Front suspension does fine. It's the back one that sucks. What time am I doing this? The stream tomorrow? It'll be around. So I gotta work on that skid steer first thing, so it'll probably be around 9 or 10. Probably around that range. Don't hold your breath, just in case, because like I said, he's got me in there working on that skid steer, so we don't know what we're gonna find and how rough it's gonna be. But hopefully, if it ain't in the morning, it'll be in the afternoon after lunch. Oh, you're in school? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you notice? Till 3:15. Oh yeah, shit. We get out at 4. You see how it's got front and rear disc. Well, you can't. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, front and rear disc brake. She's been a good bike so far. Now I put a 212 on there, so that should be obvious looking at it now. Those little small engines they send with them, the little 190 something cc, engines, they're all right. They're just, not my cup of tea. But at least on this one, it had a 3/4 inch shaft on it, whereas other ones they don't. They have like a half-inch shaft on them. It's weird. It's real small. But this one has a 3/4 inch drive shaft or crankshaft on it. And Luckily, I was able to just swap the torque converter over, to this one. And 212, this is a Hemi head 212, so it's got a lot more, it's got a little bit more torque, and it's got a better block, if I'm not mistaken. It's the block that's a little thicker on these, thicker cast. See, I'll be on tomorrow. See you, dude. All right, man, you take it easy. But yeah, she's been a good one. Now she ain't got Brimbos, not like that one over there. But the brakes do work pretty decent for what they are, and that's important, going down through those Ozarks. That's very important. But she's got torque for days. Oh, and I put a 72 tooth sprocket on the end of it. So on the back, she's got 72 teeth on the back, which greatly helps out. And she still does like 40, which is more than enough for what I'm going to be doing with it. But and this is the frame that has that reinforcement right there. So right in here, if you look, used to it was just a straight pipe that come down, but now they got like a little piece because they found a weak spot in these, and it was right there. So now they reinforced that, and that solved that issue. Yep. But that's the name of the game, man. I've crossed creeks with these type. Now I hadn't done it with this one yet, but I have done it with an M200, Axis M200, and it's been, yeah. This is the Trailmaster Hurricane X, is what they call it. Trailmaster Hurricane X. It's not a number. It's just Trailmaster Hurricane X or Trailmaster 200 Hurricane X, something like that. I don't know. Anyhow. But it's pretty good, and I'm really still thinking later on I'm going to get the Coleman B200 RSV, because it's a full suspension mini bike too. It's a little bit shorter than this one, but it's stout. I mean, I'm talking the frame on that thing is stout through and through. Like, this one's pretty thick, don't get me wrong, it's just that one's really stout, That thing's built like a tank for $1,000. And it has an LED light, which still kind of bugs me about this one, because now, I got this at the same price as the B200 RSV. What it is new. But what bugs me is that this headlight is still the old-fashioned, barely any kind of light. The shit is as weak as a candle flame, but draws so much power, halogen bulb. It just sucks. Yet the B200 RSV, which is a far cheaper bike than this without a discount, for and it's got bright ass LED lights. I don't get that. Why the hell do they have a cheap ass shitty light on this thing? But anyhow, I still gotta upgrade the stator on this one. I gotta put a stator on it, and that way I can run the lights. And that shitty light's coming off of there. I'm putting a regular good light on it. Yep. But yeah, dude. I just like fat tire bikes. It's like the the TW200s, the Yamahas, and the old school back in the day Fat Cats. Remember those? The Honda Fat Cats. I love that look. Now that's a true fat tire bike because it's got front and rear balloon ass ATV tires on it. The TW200 at least has it's like a rear dirt bike tire on the front and an ATV tire on the back. So I like those. That's just my style. But yeah. And then I got into off-road bikes, man, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I guess I hit the limitations of it. Because if you go any bigger, they're so heavy and they're so expensive, man. You just don't want to, like, if you drop 15 grand on a bike, you're not going to be taking it far off-road. You ain't going to be beating on it, I'll tell you that much. That's why I stuck with a KLR 650. It's a cheap bike. It's a cheap bike that you're not going to feel bad if you fall over, And I've dropped that bike over on its right side before. No, left side, my bad. Because we was crossing a creek, and I lost my foot and laid it over on the left side, and we got wet. But stood it back up, fired it up, and rode it out of there. And that was in the Ozarks. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see. And sit. There we go. I think we're good now. But yep. Old KLR 650 takes a licking, keeps on a ticking. I smacked a deer at 55, 60 roughly miles an hour. Like, I could have had that whole shit, that whole thing on camera, man. But my camera was dead. It died on the road. Right? I mean, I'm talking probably. It wasn't too many curves before that one. And my buddy who was riding behind me, his camera was off. He had a GoPro too. It would have been perfect footage. It would have been good footage. But his camera was turned off. He was saving battery for, trails and whatnot. But, yep. Sure did. Smacked a deer. It slid. It was the only straightaway, thankfully. I mean, you couldn't get no more lucky than that because we just got out of some serious twisties with some serious drop-offs. And got into this one straightaway with 11% grade going down. It's where they split the lanes out. It widens out, for trucks and whatnot. And sure enough, hit the deer right at the top of it. It was going about 55, 60. I didn't even have time to stop. It was that fast. I laid over and I slid with the bike for a minute. My foot was kind of trapped, and I was able to kicked away from the bike. And when I kicked away from it, that's when the bike started tumbling. But we straightened everything back out. It didn't leak not a drop of fluid. That's the most amazing thing about it. It did not, no drips nowhere. It didn't damage nothing as far as that goes. And I was able to ride that bike 3.5 hours home. So I vouch for KLR 650. It's a tough ass bike. It was still technically totaled. It was that orange one. If you go back to the very first videos I've done, you'll see the Walmart edition KLR 650. That orange one's the one I hit the deer on. And I think I did a video. Yeah, I did. I did a video on it after the fact explaining what all went down. And in the video and in the pictures, it does no justice to what was damaged because, again, the bike just, it took it like it wasn't shit. But I saw it when it flipped. I saw it when it flipped. As soon as I got kicked away from it, that's when it flipped. And then I got that, I bought this other one used, and it was a KLR 650 that was loaded out. And I rode it for all the way up until I traded it for this one. I put street tires on it. I did a tubeless conversion on it. And yeah, there was that. I had to reseat the bead. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. I don't know. It just started leaking out the bead. I took and popped the bead off. I rotated the tire a little bit and then reseated it, balanced it out, and it was fine after that. But the bead was leaking its ass off. I could not tell you. I have no clue. It's the first time that's ever happened. But I don't know. I think I was the first person on the internet, really, or at least has posted about it, that put street tires on a KLR 650. Because 9 times out of 10, it's always off-road tires. But I was able to, it took me a minute to find them, too. But I found tires that were just absolutely closest as I could get to what the originals were. And that's what I stuck on there. And they were Dunlop D404s. And I believe they were just like slightly taller than the previous. And that was it. That was the only difference, and I measured everything out to make sure it was going to clear before I ordered them, and then I put them on, and it worked. And they actually did really good. It does ride different though. You would be surprised just how well, like how different something rides when you go from off-road style, like dual sport style tires, to on-road only tires. Man, the second you get in the grass, it's so swirly. You can barely hit the throttle, and it's broke traction. Gravel feels weird, Even on the road, when you got on the road, that was the weirdest part. So with dual sport tires, they're not flicky like these are. These flick hard. Like I'm talking, it had a sporty feel, right? The bike was way more just agile, if that makes sense, So I mean, it had the upsides and it had the downsides. But the only thing I wished I would have stuck around long enough for on that bike was, how long the tires would have lasted. Because I think all I had on them was, I don't know, 2,500 to 3,000 miles on them. They still look brand new. I mean, they look nice. They didn't really show no wear, but that's only 3,000 miles, so couldn't really go off of that. But I mean, I just, what is it? What do you want? I hear you. I wish I would have kind of held on to that one, but I could not pass this deal up. I just couldn't. Yep, just could not pass it up. it was almost too good to be true, and then it turned out to be true. I was shocked. Hell, I got a first payment coming up tomorrow. I'm gonna call them just to make sure all that goes through right, like it's supposed to, because I don't want no trouble there. Jeff Kendall Gassers, yes sir. Except for that one behind it. You know what would be cool though with the mini bike? Taking do like an electric conversion on one, but like you have the control, like the controllers and all that, you know, to where you can charge and ride. It would be kind of neat to have like a hybrid type bike. I don't know, just it would be neat for me, to me, because you would have all the torque, the instant torque of an electric, and the long range of a gas bike. You know, that would be pretty cool. Because I mean, electric has its place in the dirt. I'll tell you that much. Yep, that's electric back there. That's a LiveWire one. Yes, sir. If you go back earlier in the stream, you'll catch you'll see there'll be like a patch under the bike. If you scroll back to a certain point, you'll see before that patch, and if you catch it right in the middle, you'll see right where I did a burnout on that bike. If you want to hear it. I did a burnout right here in front of the camera. But if you go back, you'll see before the mini bike got here, you'll see like where that patch is in front of the tire, and then you'll see it should like disappear, and then you can kind of find the middle ground, and you'll see right where I did the burnout. Yep. But yeah, it'd be nice to make like an electric or a hybrid mini bike. Get you one of them small 4-stroke generators. Let's see. I have a ETM RTR pit bike from Electro and Company. I hadn't heard of them. No, hadn't heard of that one. I'd like to build one. I would. Now, I don't like hub motors. Hub motors are all right, don't get me wrong, but they have their limitations, and they can be a pain in the ass if the bearings go down, or if the tire, you got to change a tire on them. They are a pain in the ass to change all that out. I'd rather do like a chain drive, so I could without the motor in place, and you wouldn't need no torque converter or nothing like that. It's just you could chain drive it. I understand there's losses there, but if it's a hybrid, you're not really too worried about it. But put me a decent enough electric motor to get me up to at least 60 miles an hour. I think that would be fair enough on a street legal bike. And then take and put me a decent battery pack up front that I can charge up, and it wouldn't be such a strain on the generator, but not heavy enough to where it's just a dog to drag around. And then put like a stripped down version of a Generac, little generator, those little small ones, real light ones. Probably take out. You don't need all the covers and shit. Just get like the most basic version of that. With a small 4-stroke engine. And make like a hybrid out of it. I think that'd be cool as hell. What's it? How's he feeling?
He's still asleep.
Yeah, I saw y'all sleeping there. I didn't want to bother y'all.
Yeah, I
come out here.
Tired, and that's only because I help that boy.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
so
medicine.
I would go to sleep when he goes to sleep.
Yep.
But I won't find out anything
Till tomorrow.
Until I guess tomorrow.
Yep. Well, I love you.
I love you too.
But anyhow, let's see, 58 mile per hour pit bike. Yeah, I think 60 miles an hour would be fair. Because that way you're not going too slow on the road, I guess. Did you now investigating, huh? Interesting. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to have a hybrid one. That way you can take it off road and actually kind of go up some decent hills and whatnot. Like I said, it's a great platform to start with, but I don't know if I want to do it to this one. Maybe. I don't know. I might get a B200 RSV, keep that gas, go with put this Hemi on that one, and maybe do it with this one. I don't know. Hey, it's got more room, I guess, because the B200 is a little shorter than this one is. I think it has a little less room in the quote unquote engine area, the bay. But yeah, I can imagine I could stuff a pretty decent electric motor right there. And of course, this platform on both of them, the lower engine platform is removable. It's 2 bolts. That shit falls out of there. No kidding. So I could probably just take that tray, build the electric setup on that, and then get it up there and get it lined up. You can find a motor. Like I said, they got motors that'll do 60 miles, if not more, miles an hour. That ain't that big. I gotta find one that's waterproof. That's for sure. Yeah, I think 60 miles an hour is plenty for what it is. I'd hate to be going anything faster than that, especially on something like that. I got the speed machine back there. This one, yeah, no. And hell, them generators, I know that Generac will run. It'll run 8 hours. If I fill it up in the morning, because I know this for a fact, because running the baler, I was having to use it for a heater. Because you can't run anything else inside that baler other than electric, or what it comes with, which, all that shit was broke. But I run electric heat on the inside so it wouldn't sweat everywhere, man, because propane heat sweats, just dripping everywhere. But that darn electric heat will burn you out of there. But I know I could fit, if I fill that generator up in the very early morning, but the way I was doing it was like I would run it on what it had left in it, and it would quit like midday. But if I was to fill it up in the morning, it would last a whole 8-hour day, which is more than enough than you would need, on this. So that's not bad. And I think the gas tank was only like a gallon or like almost a gallon on it. So that 8 hours for almost a gallon worth of gas, that's not bad. And it was light. I mean, with all the casing and everything, it was still considered. I mean, it's light, all things considered. But I think if you used to strip a lot of that shit away and just have the motor and generator, and then like hard mount it back here on the back with the plug-ins, I think that would be useful. Because it's got a DC charger on there too. You got just the 2 leads, and that's the only 2 I would need. I could run DC to the batteries. I could do like a DC to DC inverter, or not inverter, but a converter where I can convert it down to a usable voltage, a safe voltage for the battery, and charge them batteries while I'm on the run. And that way I could have a quote unquote 8-hour mini bike. Wouldn't that be something? I don't know. It'd be cool though. Another thing I thought about doing, this is a long time ago though, I always thought about building like a little trailer, to follow behind one of these. Do like a full electric setup where you got a decent sized battery on it. So you can kind of go by yourself with the bike, so the bike without a trailer could run around and do, several things for hours, on that battery. But when you're done, you ain't got to worry about charging or worrying. Like if you rode it out somewhere, you can ride back in, with the same bike, hook a trailer up, and run this generator trailer that keeps everything charged while you run back, home. A quote unquote range extender, I guess. I've always had that idea. That way you can unhook it when you want to play and have fun and shit, and then when it's time to go, you don't have to worry about range. So that's the only downside to batteries and electric. You got to worry about range. And you can't, I know everybody says, oh, it's not that bad. And I've seen a lot of videos on the LiveWire 1. It's not that bad. It's that bad. You can't go far on the bike. 100 miles, and mind you, if you ride the bike like you normally ride a motorcycle, you're going to eat through that range pretty quick. It just is what it is. My riding style, the way I ride the whole 9, you ain't going to get 100 miles out of the thing. Right now, the bike has learned me, and right now I can get about 80 miles, 85 miles, and that's it. I hear you. I hear you. What I'm hopeful for, which I know it won't happen anytime soon, but they said they figured something out. Samsung and Toyota are partnering up on solid state batteries. So Samsung is who makes the batteries for this bike, and I'm interested to see how far that goes. But the claim that they had was with Samsung and Toyota was that they made a car. They got a prototype, evidently, that they go 750 miles on a 10-minute charge, and they're supposed to produce this car in 2027. So I don't know. It's probably just another, we've been hearing it for 20 years, probably longer than that, about these, solid state batteries, and they just never ever came to fruition, But they claim they got a new way of doing it. They got a way of actually charging these batteries fast without having to worry about, overloading them the whole nine. They figured some way of allowing the charge in without slowing it down. But I'm curious about the 10-minute thing. I understand solid state batteries. They'll work. I mean, like I said, I'm not really skeptical of the range. I get that part. It's the charging it. That's the infrastructure I want to see. Because a 10-minute charge with that kind of power to go 750 miles, that's nuts. That's interesting to me, But if they do end up coming out, it's all true and all this shit gets proven and whatnot, it's kind of exciting that it's the same company that makes the batteries for this bike, well, for the LiveWire behind this bike. And I would like to upgrade the battery. Because if I can get more range out of this bike, then it would be the ultimate bike then. Because it would have DC fast charge. You could really charge the shit out of it. And if it's got solid state batteries, the batteries would last 20 years, theoretically. And not only would they have that long range on them, they would have, the fast charge capability that would just beat out the pump. And like I said, if you can get 300 miles of range on this bike with a 10-minute charge or even a 20-minute charge, it's worth it. At that point, it'd be worth it. I would road trip the shit out of that bike. I would go everywhere on that bike. But right now, as the way it is now, it's short trips. It's to work and back. It makes a lot of sense there. Electric bikes, if you can get one cheap, back and forth to work, do it. You'll enjoy that. You will. You just plug that shit into your boss's wall. Yep. Charge it back up. But you're doing shared charging between work and home. But yeah, dude, you ain't gotta buy gas. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than gas, so it does have its benefits. But like if you're getting one to road trip, you can hang it up. It ain't gonna happen. Yes, there are videos of people doing it, but do you not see all the fucking headache they go through? Screw that. Yep. Screw that. Hey there, Lilo. What are you doing, huh? What are you doing, huh? Oh, that's a Lilo. Girl, you done got fat. You got fat. Oh, you're so fat. Oh, hit yourself. Watch out. What's up, Pierre? Oh, I petted Pierre. That was the wrong thing to do, wasn't it, Pierre? Jealous butt. Jealous butt. They're riding. Yep, that's where I am on all electric bikes. Rivet Anthem, and Rivet that new one they got. The Rivet Anthem was the road bike, and they had a Rivet. It was their off-road version. They're kind of promising. I kind of like them. I've done a lot of research on them, and so far I like what I see. They're starting off right on the prices. They're in the right direction with them. They're still just a little bit on the high side, but they did start off in the right direction. But they got a removable battery pack, and I like that. And the reason I like that is that in the future, you know, let's say they develop a better battery, all you gotta do is clip that sumbitch in. You know, you can probably send them your old battery pack, and they send you the new one, and you just clip it in, and you got way better range, way better everything. So I like how they left that open for innovation, and I like the style of the bike. The style is interesting. The and how they build it. There's no weld. It's all rigid. It's all bolted together and all that, and it's pretty cool. So I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. Hopefully they don't fold like everybody else. Cause I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of companies that folded. Energica was the one that I thought. Well, they made a hell of a bike, and it's right on par with a LiveWire, which is more powerful. Don't get me wrong; it's a way more powerful bike. They actually had a gearbox on it too, and that's the best part. You still had a gearbox, but and they had the best range, they had the best power, and yet they folded. You know, company folded over just recently, so it makes you worry a little bit. Makes you kind of wonder. Yeah, I don't knock electric bikes. Obviously, I got one, but I don't think they should be forced. And on top of that, it's not new technology. I will stand by that statement to this day. Electric bikes are not new. Electric, batteries, the motors, none of that shit is new. What's up, Dark Angel? Oh, goody. Yep. Yeah, I think they're just overpriced. Because they call them a new thing, but they're just not. I mean, it's just even the technology behind the batteries and all that. Yeah, it's greatly improved. It's just not there yet. You know, you can still do quite a bit with them. It's just, you know, 100 miles is a little lacking, if you ask me. Because it's such a great bike. If it had the range, man, it would be perfect. My CRF 300L can outrange this bike. And that's saying something. And that was before it got the 3-gallon tank on it. I'm buying a Z500 for my first street bike. Hell yeah, dude. Should be a good all-around bike, size-wise. You ever checked out an MT-07 Yamaha? They got a great sound. Now, insurance might be a little high on it for your first bike, but you wouldn't get tired of it anytime soon. MT-07 looks sharp to me. Then you got the MT-09. It's got a lot of power to it. And then there's all kinds of options. Shit. So many options. But power wise, with this bike, torque wise, it's on par with that well, it's a little faster. It's got a little bit more torque than that GL1800C, and the only difference is this thing has torque anywhere. My GL1800C, you had to build the torque. You know, this one, it's from 0. You could be sitting at 80, hit it, same torque, just pulls. You know. Yeah, I love riding dirt bikes, but kept blowing them up on the street. See, I got a CRF 300L, and it's got a street bike engine. It's a 250 chassis, CRF chassis, with a 300. You know the CBR 300R, the crotch rocket that Honda makes. You know the small crotch rocket. It's that motor. It's got a 6-speed though, and it's in the CRF 250 chassis. And they mended those two together, and it's probably about the best thing they ever did for the CRF, you know, lineup. Because it's a light bike. It's, you know, you can do some hooligan shit with it. And the beauty of it is, and I'll say this because I got one. I was riding it before it got all damaged up. But anyhow, first gear is like a granny low. Thank God somebody listened. 2 through 5 is close, and number 6 is a overdrive gear. I mean, it's literally what we've been asking for since the creation of motorcycles. is like a super low first gear, a close, 2 through 5, and then an overdrive 6. You can get up to 75 on that bike. I wouldn't cruise all day at it, but you can cruise 70. Easy. Oh yeah, them CRFs are good bikes, man. Ride hard and put away wet. Hold up. Yep. Yeah, they are good bikes though. Hell, damn Honda, man, a Honda motor. You could take you could drain the oil pan out. Don't do this literally. I'm just making a metaphor. It's a joke. But somebody out there, man, you could drain the oil and set one next to it. Yeah, you could set a quarter of oil next to a Honda empty crankcase, and it would still go 1,000,000 miles. Don't do that. It will not go 1,000,000 miles. Yeah, you take care of her, man. Or really, if you take care of anything, it'll last. But at least on the Honda, it's like guaranteed to last. I mean, you would have to be doing something like intentional for you to break a Honda engine on the 300s. Shit, Itchy Boots. Yeah, you know the channel Itchy Boots, big channel. Yeah. Big channel, man. She just traveled the world on a CRF 300L. The rally version, yeah. I mean the world. And when she got to Alaska, she named her bike Alaska. But when she got to Alaska, they ended up rebuilding the bike, going all throughout the motor. And actually, the motor was, I mean, for everywhere she went and what she put that bike through, that motor had no wear in it. Like, I'm talking barely anywhere. Yeah, and they do the full build and everything. You get to see the whole thing. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yep. This will be my first Kawasaki I get ever. My heart stays with Honda though. Oh no. Kawasaki's a good one. I had a KLR 650, dude. I had a KZ 550, the old school model, and I think I had an 1100. I can't remember. I've had 3 Kawasaki's before, technically 4, but I crashed the first one and got the exact same thing again. But yeah, now I've had technically 4, but 3 Kawasaki's. I want to say it was 1100. I can't really remember that bike though. I didn't have it long. I remember the KZ 550, and I remember the KZ. It was over 1,000. I remember that. Or it was a Z or a KZ, something like that. Because I know the old school models, it was KZ. You want one? Oh yeah. This is like old school. This is like late 80s Kawasaki. But I ended up selling it. Like I said, once you start a motorcycle addiction, it kind of goes downhill from there. Let's see, my buddy. Let's see. Oh, that's Rainbow Glitch. I didn't know the name changed. My bad, buddy. Let's see. My buddy got a sweet CRF 650, street legal. Love it. CRF 650. Hold up, that's news to me. CRF 650. Oh, the pig. What the fuck am I talking about? The pig. I was like 650. Hold up. Yeah, no, that's the pig. My bad. I guess I'm just not used to hearing CRF 650. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, everybody calls it the pig. Hey, takes a lick and keeps on the ticking. Just like the KLR 650s. I'll tell you, the KLR 650, I don't know how long you've been in here, because I already talked about it, but I crashed my 2022 model KLR 650. I smacked a deer at 55 to 60 miles an hour. It was somewhere in that range. And it was in the mountains. I was going down 11% grade. The only straightaway, thankfully. But I slid with that bike, and I was able to get kicked away from it. Show us your KLR. I traded it for that bike back there. But if you go back in my videos, you'll see my KLR 650. You'll see both of them. The one I crashed and the one I had afterwards. But But yeah, I was able to get kicked away from it, and it tumbled. And after all that, we straightened all the. It was me and my buddy out there. You know, he was on a bike behind me, but he saw the whole thing. I saw it really up close. I got the first-hand experience of it. I was hoping he would want to trade, but he didn't want to trade. You know, it was all in the moment, I guess. But uh, straightened everything back out. She didn't leak not a drop of fluid, man. She rode 3.5 hours home. After that, I was skint up, something fierce too. But yeah, no, I traded it for that bike behind this mini bike. Let me get that mini bike out the way. What y'all getting into, huh? Yeah, that's what I traded the KLR 650 for. And they gave me good money for that KLR 650. More than I ever thought I was going to get. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, XR 650, the pig, yeah. Yeah, my bad, buddy. I was like, hold up. I guess I've never heard it called CRF 650. Yeah, I thought CRF went up to what, 400? 450, I think? No, they had a CRF 500 back in the day, didn't they? Yeah, there was a CRF 500, wasn't there? I don't know. Google knows, though. Google knows. Yeah, XR 650. Now that rings the bell right there. I don't know. You threw my brain for a loop there for a second. I ain't never heard it called that. But as soon as I was like 650, oh, that's the pig. Yep. Because before I got the KLR 650, I was looking at getting a pig. You know, but I don't know. Liquid cooling, I think, is what won me over. Because I know the XR 650, they're still air cooled, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Keep the fins clean, and it'll do just fine. Just keep moving. But the type of commuting I was doing, you might have to idle a lot, and that's the reason I went with the liquid cooled. Yeah, I had my mind somewhere else. Nah, you're good, dude. Now, hell, it threw me for a loop too. You weren't alone. Yep, it was a brain twister teaser, I guess. But yeah. Well, that's why I went KLR 650, because they got liquid cooled. If Honda would do like a 650 liquid, oh yeah, we'd be in business. But they got the darn Africa Twin too, so you know. So I mean, it's a twin cylinder with a liquid cooling, the whole nine. The only downside is it's like 15 freaking grand out the door, maybe a little bit more than that, probably around 17 grand out the door. And shit, it's heavy as hell, tall as hell, expensive as hell. You don't want to put it through hell, you know, but you'll bash a pig and you'll bash a KLR 650. Those are the bikes. If you want to go off road, do it. Those are the two bikes to do it with. Because I guarantee you go dropping that kind of money on them damn expensive ass bikes, oh, they'll perform. Oh, they ride good. They got all the best shit, you know. It better be a pavement princess, because either that or you got FU money, one of the two. Because I ain't sticking that some bitch in the trails. Ain't no way. That some bitch costs way too much money. Yeah, bikes are an expensive hobby. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it depends on what you go with. And what I liked about the KLR, you could, you know, it was fuel injected, but if you wanted to, there's a way to go back carbureted. It really didn't take much. The engine is identical to all the ones from the 80s. All the way from the 80s to 90s to early 2000s to now. Literally all the parts will interchange. Minus a few, like, new shit, you know. But I know they killed it off there for a short bit, and then they brought it back. I think they killed it off, what was it, 2016 or 18? Something like that. It was somewhere in that year range. They killed the KLR 650s, which was like, everybody was like, oh my God, you know. And then when they brought it back in 2020, no, it was 2022 when they brought it back, or 2021. I don't know. It was dead for like a few years, maybe 4 or 5 years, and then they brought them back, and they had a new style, fuel injected, the whole nine. I think even the ones from 2016 were still carbureted. That and the only gripe I had with the KLR 650, And I like to know this information. I know everybody else is like, well, it's okay. You don't have a tachometer no more. I want a tachometer. Why could they not keep the tachometer? There was a spot on the display, no shit, for a tachometer, and it just wasn't there. You know, that's the only thing I missed from the old ones was they had a tachometer on them, and that's useful whenever you're going buzzing down the highway to make sure you ain't redlining the motherfucker. Yeah, older vehicles is better. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just wish they would have kept that tachometer. Then it would be all right. But yeah, they had an aftermarket option. I just it sucks you got to put an aftermarket option on there. Because I know I had that bike. I put a and by the way, KLR 650s are balanced as far as the gearing goes. A 15 tooth is a good all in between gearing. You go down one tooth to 14 tooth, which I still have. I still have that 14 tooth sprocket from my old bike. But if you go down a tooth, it's like super geared low. I'm talking that big of a difference. That you can go off road, man, and just climb up anything, man. It just chugs up anything. And if you go up a tooth, it's way too high. It's like just roadway. And that's what the one I had on there was a 16 tooth. That's what I sold it with was a 16 tooth. And you could hit 80, 85 pushing it. But I just don't know where the RPMs were. I just didn't want to hurt the bike. I didn't want to just go too harsh on it. I know they take a licking, but they can only do it so much. Anything can only do it so much before something gives. But yeah, I did like that. That was pretty cool. And you could use the same chain, same exact chain. You could take and put it didn't take too long to swap out a sprocket. So what I had planned when I went out the first time to the Ozarks, my first ever time going, you always overpack when you first go somewhere, and I did overpack, but at the same time, that's when I hit the deer too. But I was able to swap my sprocket out when I hit the actual trails. So I run a road sprocket all the way out there, which was the 16 tooth, and when I got out there, I swapped over to the 14 tooth and was able to hit the trails and enjoy them. I wasn't having to, just to take off, sacrifice some clutch for some fuel mileage. Anyhow, yeah, no, I didn't have to do all that. It didn't take, but at most like shit, around 15 minutes, because you're on the side of the road, you're getting it, you're trying to get it done. Yeah, getting everything adjusted back out, getting that sprocket off of there, getting a new one or the 14 tooth back on, and then getting everything adjusted out. It didn't take but about 15 minutes. Yep, but you got to we got to go. You have a good day, brother. You too now. I subscribe. Oh, I appreciate that, brother. Hey, we do heavy machinery stuff normally. I'm just shooting the shit with everybody today. Yep. Normally we do heavy machinery stuff. We got a baler, traco, all that good stuff, but then I just come out here, shoot the shit. I know it don't bring no viewers. Hell, I don't really care. Shit, I just, it's cool just to sit down and hang out, It's cool just to hang out and see what everybody's up to, See what's going on out there in the world. Bikes, that's my thing. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I come home, my wife and son, they were asleep. I was like, yeah, I am not going to bother them. So I was like, I'm going to let them sleep because they had a long day today. Little man had to go to the doctor, and my wife, she had to go deal with the last of that her sister-in-law put us through. Just bullshit. Had to go through all that shit just to get her out of the house. Ridiculous. Anyhow, yeah, my wife had to go deal with that today. And yeah, it's just been a long day. But it's all over with. Life can move on. Hey, for any advice, if I can give any advice to anybody on here, don't just let anybody, I don't care if they're family, because family always tends to get you first, right? Anyhow, because she was my wife's sister. Family will get you first. I don't care what the sob story is. They can stay on your couch. Now check your state, because this all is very heavily dependent on the state. I found out because I just had to go through all this. If somebody stays on your couch longer than 15 days, they are considered a. It's still a guest, but it's like a residential tenant. At that point, they could qualify for that at that point, even though they hadn't paid no bills. So it'll take you 14 days to get them out of your house if they stay 15 days on your couch. After you pass that 15-day mark, you can kick them out at that point. But if you go 16 days, they're your problem for the next 14 days if you try to get them out and they want papers. And it's 140, here at least, it's 140 something odd dollars out of your own pocket just to start all this shit. And then you get in there, it's just court costs and all that. Even though when they lose, they got to pay all that back. But I'm not expecting a dime from that because, her broke ass ain't going to be working. But anyhow, yeah, had to go through a whole lot of headache. Just a whole lot of headache. Hell, it all started trying to review this bike right here. This bike right here. I promised everybody that evening when I was in the Traco, I believe it was. Yeah, I was in the Traco that day. Yeah, because the Baylor just got there. Shit, what am I talking about? I was in the Traco. We just finished the day out. I just got this bike. I hadn't had it too long. And I said, yeah, I'll do a review. We'll answer questions. We'll get close-ups, the whole nine, right? And it was that day that all that shit went down, and I had to kick her out. And she was out for 3 days. And then she broke back into my house, which I did not like. That obviously, anybody wouldn't like somebody breaking into your fucking house. Slammed the door shut on that room up there, that guest bedroom, and said, you got to give me a 30-day notice. She tried to pull a squatter move. Sure did. Some bullshit. So she has this boyfriend of hers. Now, mind you, this is a boyfriend of hers. Fucking be a fucking man and take care of this girl, I mean, shit, she's your old baby, ain't she? Be a fucking man to take care of her. I'd rather live out in my fucking truck with my girl and be with her than I ever would just to just send her on her fucking way, out there on the streets. Some man, I guess. But anyhow, long story short, she pulled that because his mother was in her ear saying, well, he's got to give you a 30-day notice, which I find fucking ironic. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is getting juicy shit, ain't it? Anyhow, that's a LiveWire one. But her mother kicked, her boyfriend's mother kicked her out the same day. Like, she didn't give her no notice or nothing. She was tired of her. She kicked her out on the street same day. That was a done deal. But all of a sudden, this bitch has an epiphany and says that, well, he's supposed to give you a 30-day notice. The same bitch that kicked her out in like 1 day, and that was it. I gave her a week. When I kicked her out the first time, I said, you can stay out in that ambulance over there, which I've stayed in. I know what it's like being in the damn thing. I was on the job sites with them. Yeah. I gave her a week. I was being nice, and realistically, I would have extended it out further than that. But no, she had to break into my fucking house and to pull that shit. Well, anyhow, she wanted to put us through all this shit, so I put her through some shit. So now my CRF 300L, oh yeah, it's cool, dude. But that CRF 300L that got all tore up from her, where she knocked the KLR into it, and then it fell on top of that motor, and it shredded that fucking bike up from her stupidity. Well, and mind you, I was asleep. Me and my wife were asleep. My son was asleep. And all I did was wake up to sobbing in the kitchen because she was out here early in the fucking morning sitting on my KLR, a full-size adventure bike. She's a twig. At this time, she was still a twig. She come to us looking like a Holocaust survivor. And we opened our door and let her in, yeah, that was the worst fucking mistake we made. But she said that I'm not going to scam her out of money on this bike. First off, I don't fucking scam people. You got that fucking wrong. I looked up parts for my bike. OEM new parts, because mind you, the bike had less than 1,000 miles on it. It's still brand spanking fucking new when this all happened. I looked up all the parts, and that's what it come up to was around, like, shit, almost, for some of the weirdest fucking parts, too, that I had to get. Because it was just the weirdest shit that got damaged. It come up to close to, like, around 1,500, I want to say it was. Well, now, at this point, now that I found out the tank and all that shit, dude, it's getting closer to $2,000. By the time it's all said and done, me trying to fix this fucking bike. So what I'm going to do, I gave her to the end of this year. What I'm going to do. What I'm going to do at the end of this year. If she don't produce these parts, And I mean brand new OEM, because the statute of limitations in Tennessee is 3 years on a vehicle that gets damaged. And I have clear proof. You know, I have clear proof. She damaged this bike. She even admitted to it flat out on a text message. Anyhow, I screenshotted all that stuff just to make sure like somehow it can't just disappear or go away. But she so at the end of this year, if she don't produce these parts that are OEM with proof of where she got it, the whole nine, I'm taking it out to a local body shop here. I'm gonna have them fix the bike, and she's getting the bill. I'm going through a lawyer to do it. Because I'm sick of it, man. You put us through all this shit, I'm fixing to... Like, you already fucked up with the whole having to get you an eviction notice. I mean, you realize what that does, right? She thought it was just a piece of paper. She thought it just bought her some time, right? Now, the judge kind of looked at her like she was stupid. Well, I don't say kind of. He looked at her like she was stupid. That was the funniest shit I ever saw. But, yeah, he was like... He looked at me. He said, has she paid any bills? I said, not a dime. Has she paid on rent? Not a dime. And then, of course, you know that. The bills was the second question. He looked back at her and said, you are not a tenant. He says, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because she looked up and said, well, I don't have nowhere to go. He says, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll call you a residential tenant. You know, he says, you're just a guest, but I'll call you a residential tenant. And he said, you got 14 days as of the date he told you to get out, which was only 3 days from that court day. Oh, my God, that shit was so good. Anyhow, she thought she was going to get 30 days from that day. Hell no, you weren't. Your ass got out quick. She fucked up. And then on top of that, what happens with an eviction notice, if anybody knows anything about those, when you have one on your record, now you don't have to be the one applying to rent somewhere, right? If your name is among the people that's going to be living in that house and they do a background check, the person who's applying for the rent, like let's say her boyfriend, is going to get denied. You're a troubled tenant. If somebody had to evict you to get them out of your house, they don't want to have to go through the trouble of evicting you to get them out of your house, out of their house. You know, she don't realize just what kind of repercussions that comes with that eviction notice. It's always going to be there. It's always going to cause you problems. And I warned her about that. I told her, I said, "You sure you want to go down this road?" I won't see my paper. Okay, I went that evening and got that fucking paper. She regretted that because now she owes all the court costs. She owes the 148 back to me. Fuck it. You did it to yourself. You shot yourself in the foot. You bit the hand that fed you. So, it is what it is. This is like venting. This is therapy time, I guess. But now I want my bike fixed. Because I ain't going to let that, being that you want to be petty like that and shit, you know. Oh, yeah. I can be petty. I could be real fucking petty. I could be expensive petty, too. Hell yeah, I could be expensive petty. In a heartbeat. I'm taking that shit out to the best local, body shop. I'm going to have that shit fixed right. All those parts replaced right. And, yeah. You're going to be liable for every penny of it. Shouldn't have been sitting on my bike when nobody was looking. I didn't give you no permission to sit on my bike. You just sat on it. I'm assuming to take pictures or some shit. Like, hey, look at me. I'm on a bike. I look good on this bike. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. Stay off my shit. You should know better. She likes to tell everybody I'm a grown woman. Can't even take care of herself. 21-year-old. Don't even have a license. I tried my hardest to get her a license, man. I got her a permit, and that was about as far as I could get with that. The only time she ever wanted to drive was when it benefited her. That was it. The whole fight that happened before this, when I was going to review this bike that night, was over her wanting just to run down the road to get a pack of cigarettes. She was like, "Oh, I'm driving. You're using my gas just to run down here to get cigarettes." That's not learning how to drive. It's the easiest drive to go right down there and back, The drives I'm talking about going on are the ones that go all throughout the city, all throughout everything. You need to get comfortable with this shit, And she would disappear every weekend when I would have time to do it. So, yeah. But I'm not letting her go out there with my wife and my son in the car with a brand spanking new driver. Ain't no way that's happening. But the only time she want to drive is going down to the road to get cigarettes. That was another fucking thing, that nasty ass habit she had. Like, I understand people smoke cigarettes and shit, but she knew better. That's the dumbest thing she ever got into. She knew better. And I had her off the shit. You know, the first time she lived here, this has been some time ago. The first time she lived here when she was a Holocaust survivor then, I had her off that shit because I told her I'm not supporting that habit. There's no way you're getting money out of me for that. It's too expensive. It's the dumbest thing you ever started. She actually ended up quitting. And she quit for a good, I mean, almost a year. And then when she got with this boyfriend of hers, the one she's with now, well, that dude smokes like a freight train. Well, obviously, she smokes like a freight train now. I'm gonna tell you, whenever I was done, whenever I kicked her out, I cut off food. I cut off everything. After that whole having to get the court shit and all that done, yeah, no, she was cut off from food, from everything. And she was out here fiending for cigarettes, man. I'm telling you, like she was walking up and down the road. She was going out to that place down the road, man, where she gets her cigarettes from, and she was picking through the fucking public, butt can and smoking what's left of those, man. It's fucking disgusting, man. You can't be fiending for a cigarette that bad. Yeah. But I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. She put us through all this shit. Fuck her. I told her the last bit of that message. I told her, I hope you pull the same shit with that mother of his. I said, after 15 days, you ask for your 14-day notice. I could see her mother running, or his mother running down there and dropping $148 out of her pocket. Yeah. Hey, his mother probably shouldn't have told her how to do that, huh? I guess that's gonna backfire. Look at him. I'm over here ranting for no reason. Fuck. I'm just working myself up for no reason. It's over with. Get over it. It's done. Goodbye. That ship has sailed. It's over with. Life is beautiful. So what's everybody else up to, other than hearing my dumb ass rant over here? Over nothing. I am salty about it. I will say that. My ass is salty about that shit, man. But I did win in the end. So it's like, it's salty, but, less salty. It's like, a little chef sprinkle, About the bike, though, right? We need to get back on that topic. Yeah, LiveWire 1, man. It's a good bike. Yeah. Hell, I'm probably going to get in there. Hell, I'm starting to see mosquitoes. It was fun while it lasted, I guess. We all hung out, talked for a minute, had some good conversations. But I think I'm going to get inside. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Heard the ranting. Therapy time, I guess, is coming to a close. But y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all possibly tomorrow. If it's not in the morning, it'll be in the afternoon. It just depends. We got a lot of shit we got to get done. But y'all take it easy.